everyone, this is Dave from Geekanoids, and in this video I've got the Samsung Galaxy S2 on the left here, and on the right the brand new HTC Sensation mobile phone. And in this video I'm going to be giving you a comparison between the two, both physical and performance. So let's take a look at the outside of the phones first. We've got a very similar sized phone. Height wise they're very similar. If I place one on top of the other you can see that width wise they're very similar as well. And if I swing these round you can see that the thickness of the two phones is pretty much the same, but the Samsung Galaxy S2 is definitely the thinner of the two. Let's just turn both of these over as well. On the backs of the handsets we've got on the HTC Sensation an 8 megapixel rear camera with dual LED flash, and on the back of the Samsung Galaxy S2 an 8 megapixel camera with a single LED flash. Both are capable of capturing HD video footage. Round onto the front of the devices, they both do have front facing cameras. Let me just switch these around for you again. The Galaxy S2 on the left here has a 2 megapixel front facing camera, and the HTC Sensation has a VGA resolution front facing camera. Now processor wise, I'm going to show you the performance of these in a moment. I'm going to run two benchmarking pieces of software. The Galaxy S2 on the left here has a 1.2 GHz dual core Exynos processor. The HTC Sensation on the right here has a 1.2 GHz dual core Qualcomm MSM8260 Snapdragon processor. So again, very similar sort of specifications. With regards to storage, the Galaxy S2 on the left here 1 GB of RAM, the Sensation 768 MB of RAM. The internal storage 16 GB on the Galaxy S2, 1 GB on the HTC Sensation. Both of them take micro SDHC memory cards up to 32 GB. So now I want to show you both handsets turned on. I'm not going to go into the details of the screens here. I'm going to do that in another video where I'm going to be comparing the Galaxy S2 to the HTC Sensation to the iPhone 4 as well, but I just want to show you the slight differences in user interface. On the Galaxy S2 we've got Samsung's TouchWiz interface, 7 home screens. We can scroll from left to right and go all the way to screen number 7. When we get here we can't go any further. We either have to go back manually one at a time or push the home button to go all the way back to that first screen. The HTC Sensation does things slightly differently. We've still got the 7 screens that we can populate with widgets and shortcuts, and we can scroll from left to right to go all the way to this last screen, and once we're there we can continue going until we cycle all the way back round to that first home screen. Another thing we can do is we can actually go fast, and then it makes the little icons, if I can get it to do it, makes the little icons small, so they go nice and small as you whiz round, and then as you stop they come up larger until it settles on one of the screens. So that's really nice, that's a nice touch. You're not going to use that very often, and of course if you're in another screen on the HTC Sensation you can always push the home button to go back to that home screen. You'll also notice this sort of 3D effect as you go from one screen to another, which is really nice. I quite like that. So now we're going to move on to the performance of the two handsets. Now I told you the specifications at the beginning of this video. Well, I've got a little application here, Quadrant, which I'm going to use to run the benchmark on the handsets. I'm going to try and start this at the same time, so we're going to tap Run Full Benchmark. And you can see it going through the benchmarks. At the moment the Galaxy S2 looks as though it's performing the benchmarks slightly quicker, but we'll let this complete and then we will see the results. And this is testing the memory, the GPU in here as well, the processor. You can see the Sensation is actually ahead now of the two tests. Also gives you a good look at the screens as well. Even though I'm going to be doing this separate video looking at the screens, it shows you how the two screens do compare in this test done by Quadrant. And here we got the frames per second. They're pretty much even actually, around about the 59 to 60 frames per second. and on this test the Galaxy S2 is achieving 60 frames peaking, and this was peaking at around about 30 frames per second. So let's proceed and tap yes, and this is just sending the benchmark results, and we're going to have a closer look at this. So on the HTC Sensation we've got a device benchmark score of 1968, and on the Samsung Galaxy S2 we've got a benchmark result of 3213. So a fantastic result there for the Samsung Galaxy S2. Now I didn't want to just run one benchmark, I thought that was a little bit unfair, so let's go back out to the home screen. I've got Smart Bench 2011 on both devices, and let's go back to the home screen on Smart Bench on both handsets, and here we go. Let's run Smart Bench 2011. So again, I'll try and do them at the same time. So 3, 2, 1, go. And this is again running various graphic tests, multi-threaded tests, memory tests, GPU tests, and you can see on this one straight away the Galaxy S2 seems to be completing it a lot quicker, a lot more detail in the graphics as well here, and also it ran that at full screen, whereas this one seemed to run a slightly shrink down version, and that might be to do with the higher resolution of this screen. So Galaxy S2's completed the tests. We'll wait till this one's finished, and the Sensation is almost there, and we can display the index scores on both handsets, and you can see that the Galaxy S2, your device here, 1.2 GHz, has scored 3920, and on the HTC Sensation we have got a score of 2646. So again the Galaxy S2 performed better in both of those benchmarking tests. Now that said, with the benchmarks run on both handsets, I'll just give you a little opinion between the two devices. The Galaxy S2, the screen is definitely a little bit brighter. With regards to actually playing games and using these in general use, both perform very similarly indeed. With regards to battery life, the HTC Sensation has definitely got a better battery life of the two. And regards to build quality, this is perfectly fine. It's very light in the pocket, and that is a positive point, but the HTC Sensation does feel like it's built a lot better as well. Front-facing camera, obviously the Samsung Galaxy S2 wins out on this front. With regards to the rear-facing cameras, they're both pretty much the same, although I would say that the photographic results on the HTC Sensation are very slightly better. With regards to video capture, they're pretty much the same. So I hope you found this video useful. Please do check back on the channel, because there is another video featuring these two phones and an iPhone 4 where I show you a comparison between the screens. Well, thanks for watching. Please do subscribe to the Geekanoids channel, and I'll see you all in the next video.